All right, so now we're on the next page, and this top part, you're actually going to do this on your own. There's going to be a Google form for you on Schoology for you to put in the answers that you matched for these 5 questions. So if you need to pause the video and just do these 5 real quick, go for it. There's going to be a Google form for you guys on Schoology again to fill that out when you're done, okay? So if you haven't already done those, go ahead and pause the video, fill out your Google form, and you're good to go. And up above it, all it was a little visual to kind of remind you guys that in our previous unit, this is unit 4. This is when we talked about equality and only having one solution. And now we're over here in unit 5, where we're going to be talking about inequalities, and we're going to have lots and lots of different answers, okay? What I mean by lots and lots of different answers, here, what plus 3, what can you add to 3 and your answer is less than 10? So for example, if I add 2 to 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, and that's less than 10. What if I did 0? 0 plus 3 is 3, so 0 would also work. What if I did a negative number, like a negative 8? Well, negative 8 plus 3, that works because negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5, and that's less than 10. So for this one, here's how we're going to be solving it in this unit. It's actually going to be the same thing as we've already done. When you see a plus 3, you're going to do minus 3. And instead of it saying x equals 7, you're just going to tell me as long as x is something less than 7, if we add 3 to it, the answer would be less than 10. So anything less than 7 would work. Notice all of these numbers are less than 7, so they all worked. All right, so that's what's going on in this unit, and that's what I mean by we have lots and lots of different possible answers. Don't forget to fill this out and match these if you haven't already. And now down here, I'm just going to practice translating and solving with you all. The first one, you might remember that product is the answer to a multiplication problem. And so we have the product of 5 and a number is no less than 10. So all of this stuff is no less than 10. So I'm going to go ahead and put the 10 here. Now, if you're no less than 10, you could be 10 or bigger. So all of this stuff is not less than 10. So the product of 5 and a number is not less than 10. That means 5x is greater than or equal to the 10. And let me just move this over here real quick, because now we're just going to solve it. When we see a coefficient, we divide, boop, boop. So x here is going to be greater than or equal to 2. All right, the sum of 2 and y is at most 16. So all of this stuff is at most 16. So here's the 16. And if all of this stuff is at most 16, it has to be less than or equal to the 16. So the sum of 2 and y means we're going to add 2 plus y. And that sum, if it's at most 16, we can see it's less than or equal to 16. If you forget that at most means less than or equal to, here it is. At most is in the less than or equal to column. All right. So now when we solve, we see a constant. So we're going to take away 2. We're going to take away 2. And that means that y is less than or equal to 14. So the unit is actually the same in terms of solving. We just have to put a symbol here instead of the equal sign. All right, 54 is greater than or equal to. So the 54 is greater than or equal to. Now we have 6 more than the product of 3 and x. We do have a than. So the product of 3 and x needs to come first. Now show me 6 more than that. All right, I should have written that over here. Oops, ooh, the 54 is equal to, the whole thing wants to move. Let me just erase that. There we go. So 54 is greater than or equal to 6 more than the product of 3 and a number. So when we see that the variable is over here, I see a coefficient and I see a constant. So I'm going to take away 6. That puts me at 48 over here, which is greater than or equal to 3x. Now I'm going to divide by 3. And over here, I'm going to get a 16. Now we don't want to put an equal sign You want the greater than or equal to. Okay? Now, when we read this answer, we say 16 is greater than or equal to x, but I want you guys to get in the habit of putting x first. So I can say x is less than or equal to 16. Okay? I'm not necessarily doing anything here other than just simply rewriting the problem, just so that the teacher can say x and you can hear x first. So x is less than or equal to 16, which is the same thing as saying 16 is greater than or equal to x. All right, now for number 4, the quotient. So the answer a division problem, the quotient of a number in 5 decreased by 8 is no more than 17. So all of this stuff can't be more than 17. It could equal the 17 or be less than it. So less than or equal to the 17. Now I'm going to add 8 over here. I'm going to do plus 8 plus 8. So some number divided by 5 gives me 25. And when we see a denominator, we multiply by that number. So times 5 times 5. And here x would be less than or equal to 125. So the steps to solving, y'all, are actually going to be the same as in our previous unit, which is why this is a good unit for a lot of students, because you're not necessarily learning anything new in terms of what to do, but it is a lot of vocabulary and trying to think about these symbols, and if you have like at most versus at least, and like which direction your symbol should be facing. That is kind of challenging for some students. So yeah, so for this one, we get that x is less than or equal to the 125. And I'm just going to erase because I kind of dipped into my next problem here. But that thing there in green, that was the original translation. That shows that the quotient of a number in 5 decreased by 8 is no more than 17 because it has to be less than or equal to the 17. All right, and we are on the final one here translating. So 3 less than 5 times a number, 3 less than 5 times a number is greater than or equal to 12. So all this crap over here is greater than or equal to the 12. Now let's talk about all this crap over here. So we see a than, 5 times a number. Now show me 3 less than that. And we have translated. This is now showing 3 less than 5 times a number is greater than or equal to the 12. And to solve, we're going to add 3. Add 3. We'd get that 5x is greater than 15 or equal to. We're going to divide by 5. We're going to divide by 5. And x here is greater than or equal to 3. So the good news is solving, the steps to solving are going to look a lot like Unit 4 with the equations. Some of the translation stuff is still going to be valid, like 3 less than 5 times a number. That's right there. The quotient of a number in 5 getting decreased by 8. All of this stuff was in our previous unit. And now the new part is this thing here in blue where I'm trying to teach you which way the symbol should go when you see is greater than or is no more than. And if you get stuck or confused, you can always come right back to this chart here on the second page of the packet and look for these words and try to see which way the symbol should face and where the letter should be and where the number should be. Okay? All right, now you're going to have your practice stuff online, and that takes care of page 3. I think you are now done taking notes for today in the packet. Just go look for your online work. All right, thank you.